Saglit lang na. Nangyari sa ano, nag-delay siya. Saglit lang, no? Renz?
Yata nung ano eh. True Beauty. Papanoorin mo agad yan?
Hindi. Hindi ko matay.
Okay. Yeah. So hopefully, di na mag-lag. Anyway, so we're now on Laplace transformation. So this would be the last part of our, or that's the last topic for differential equations. So Laplace transformation is another way in finding the solution of a differential equation. Okay, so by using a transform or by using the Laplace transformation. So in Laplace transformation, we are converting function into an Laplace transformation, if we are given a differential equation, so what is being the or a to its equivalent algebraic function. So which okay. Ayan. Going back. So with Laplace transformation, as I have mentioned, so we are transforming a given differential equation into its equivalent algebraic functions. So in such a way that if we're going to find the solution of the differential equation, instead of using derivatives, we are just using algebraic function so to find the solution of the differential equation. So by definition, so this is Laplace transformation. So the Laplace transformation, so this is a method that reconstruct a function of a real variable t so to a function of a complex variable s. Okay, so t, so parang that would correspond to a time domain, and then the s would be for the frequency domain. So if we are given a function f, and then which is defined in such a way that t, or the time, would be greater than or equal to 0, so then the integral of the function is equal to the integral of e raised to negative st f of t dt that would be evaluated from 0 to infinity. So our idea in Laplace transformation is that we are going to find the integral of the given function, so which is multiplied to e raised to negative st, and then evaluated in such a way that it will find a defined answer. Okay, so kailangan ma-evaluate lang natin yung given function or the integral of the given function in such a way that we will get a defined answer. Okay, so that is the idea for the Laplace transformation. So ang ginagawa natin, actually maraming transformation, no? Meron din tayong Fourier transformation, so which you are going to probably study on your advanced mathematics. So after this, so ang ano kasi ang Fourier transformation, tinatransform nyo lang yung given function into discrete values. Like for example, into ones and zeros only. Okay? Or pwede rin into equivalent sine and cosine functions only. So in Laplace transformation, so gumagamit tayo ng exponential function so in transforming the given equation. Ang tawag natin dito is the kernel function. Okay, so this one. So this is the kernel function, which is the e raised to negative st. So once we multiplied our function with e raised to negative st, and then integrated it from 0 to infinity, so we are just simply finding the Laplace transform of that given function. So whenever we are finding the Laplace transformation of the given function, so using the definition, so ito ang pinaka-formula gagamitin natin. Okay, so that is the function multiplied it with e raised to negative st and evaluated from 0 to infinity. Okay, so yun yung idea natin for Laplace. So later on, pagdating natin dun sa second discussion natin in the afternoon, so dun natin makikita yung full picture on how do we really get the solution of a differential equation using Laplace transform. Pero bago yon, so we have to understand first the idea behind Laplace transformation as well as inverse Laplace transformation. Kasi para makuha mo yung solution ng differential equation, you will be using both transformation, the Laplace transformation as well as the inverse Laplace transformation. So ayan, how do we do that? So let's have an example so para mas ma-gets natin, no? Okay. Okay, ayan. So we have example number 1. So using the definition of the Laplace transform, so we are to find what would be the Laplace transform of t squared. Okay? So ang function natin is the t squared. So t squared, so what would be the Laplace transform of this? So using the definition of Laplace transformation. Sabi natin, so gumagamit tayo ng symbol ng Laplace, which is simply L. Okay, so the Laplace transformation of the given function is equal to the integral of e raised to negative st. Okay, so e raised to negative st, and then f of t dt, and from 0 to infinity. So t here would be our variable. So s would be considered as a constant in finding the integral of the function. No? And then, so how do we find, in this case, ano daw ang Laplace transformation ng t squared? Okay. So the Laplace transformation of t squared so would be equivalent to f of t ang ginagamit natin sa t domain. So tapos pag kukunin na natin yung Laplace transform ng f of t, it would become a capital F of s. So yun yung mga notations na ginagamit natin. If the given function is f of t, therefore the Laplace transformation of that so would be the function f of s. So capital F kapag gumagamit tayo ng Laplace transformation. So inverse Laplace naman, baligtad. So we are given the f of s function and then we are to find what is f of t. Okay, so that is the inverse Laplace transform. So ngayon, what we are dealing with is how do we find the Laplace transformation of common function? So in this case, mag-start tayo sa algebraic function. So t squared is an algebraic function. Meron din tayong exponential function, meron din tayong LIGO function, okay, and so on. So ngayon, so how do we do this one? So that is the integral from 0 to infinity. So palitan mo lang, e raised to negative st, and then ang f of t natin is t squared. Okay, so t squared, and then I'll have dt. Or kung i-rearrange ko yan, so this would just be t squared e raised to negative st dt. So given that t is our variable, so s is considered as constant here, then we are to integrate it. So what method are we going to use to integrate this given function? T squared e raised to negative st.
Tabular ba, sir?
Yes, so magka-tabular tayo, no? So t squared dito, and then I'll have e raised to negative st there. Tapos derive natin ang t squared, so that would be 2t, and I'll have 2, then I'll have 0. So the other way naman, so we are going to integrate. So the integral of e raised to negative st, s is considered as constant, so that would become negative 1 over s e raised to negative st. And the other would be positive na this time, so 1 over s squared e raised to negative st. And lastly, I'll have 1 over negative 1 over s cubed e raised to negative st. Okay. So use a tabular method. So this would be positive, a negative, and a positive. So gawin ko ng f of s. Okay, so the Laplace transformation then, so f of s, so would be negative 1 over s t squared e raised to negative st. And then I'll have a negative 1 or 2, sorry. So 2 all over s squared t e negative st. And then the last one will have negative 2 over s cubed e raised to negative st. And we're going to evaluate this one from 0 to positive infinity. So magiging f of s natin nun, so would be, so we'll start with infinity. No? So negative 1 over s t squared e raised to negative infinity times t minus 2 over s squared t raised to negative infinity times t, and minus 2 all over s cubed e raised to negative infinity times t. And the last one, so minus negative 1 over s t squared e raised to negative 0t minus 2 over s squared. Sorry. Pinapalitan pala natin would be the t. Okay, not ds. dt pala tayo. No? Sorry. Let me... Okay, going back. So I'll have negative 1 over s. Then I'll have infinity squared e raised to negative s times infinity. Then minus 2 over s squared infinity e raised to negative s times infinity. Then minus 2 over s cubed e raised to negative s times infinity. And all of these, so minus negative 1 over s 0 e raised to negative s times 0 and minus 2 over s squared, so 0 e raised to negative s times 0 minus 2 over s cubed, then e raised to negative s times 0. So ayan, so let's So what is e raised to negative infinity? Ah, so e raised to negative infinity, so that makes it 0 already. Okay? So yung 0 na yon, okay? So multiply it with any higher number, so that would still be 0. So in short, so this one is 0. So this is 0. This is 0 as well. So everything that is multiplied with e raised to negative e raised to negative infinity, so that makes it 0 already. Tapos this one is already 0, so since may 0 na tayo doon, and this is 0 as well. So finally, so we would just have f of s to be equivalent to, so negative and negative, so positive 2 over s cubed. So this one becomes 1. So positive 2 over s cubed. Ibig sabihin, so ito yung Laplace transform ng t squared. So that would be 2 over s cubed. Question? So that is on how to find the Laplace transform using the definition of the Laplace transform. So wala tayong tanong. So let's proceed with the next one. So find the Laplace transform naman ng exponential function. So going back with our definition, so if we have e raised to negative 3t, so this would be equivalent to the integral from 0 to infinity of e raised to negative st, and then e raised to negative 3t dt. And then, so we can combine the two. So pwede natin gawin na e raised to negative pwede natin i-factor out, no? So s plus 3 times t dt. Tama? So we could factor out negative 1. So matitira would be s plus 3, then multiplied it with t. So therefore, we have the given integral. So we're in s plus 3, so would be a variable. Ngayon, kung integrate natin yan, so anong integral nito nun? That would be, so ang pinaka-u natin yan, so would just be negative s plus 3.
1 over s.
So du niyan would just be negative s plus 3 dt. So it's just negative 1 over s plus 3, then e raised to negative s plus 3 t. And then that would be evaluated from 0 to infinity. Gagawin natin nun. So since constant naman si negative 1 over s plus 3, so labas na lang natin siya. And then this would become e raised to negative s plus 3 raised to infinity, then minus e raised to negative s plus 3 times 0. So again, e raised to negative infinity, that is 0. E raised to 0, that would be 1. So therefore, negative 1 times negative 1, nagkaroon tayo ng positive. Or that would be 1 over s plus 3. So yun yung Laplace transform niya nun. 1 over s plus 3. So do we get it? So how we are finding the Laplace transform of functions? So using the definition of Laplace transformation. Okay lang?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So actually what we did here is derivation, okay? So derivation ng mga Laplace transformation natin. Let me see. Ito medyo T kasi yun. So what can you notice here? For example, binigyan ko kayo ng a raised to 2t. This is the function. So what do you think is the Laplace transformation of this? Kasi remember, ang kanina, nagkaroon tayo ng e raised to negative 3t. Ang Laplace transformation niya is 1 over s plus 3. Ang e raised to 2t, actually ang Laplace transformation niya is 1 over s minus 2. So ang Laplace transformation ng 2 e raised to t over 2. So ang Laplace transformation niyan is 2 over s minus 1/2. So anong formula ang ginagamit natin in short? So kung tatanungin ko kayo, if f of t is equals to e raised to nt, what is f of s? N would be any integer or actually any number. Any real number. One over s minus n. Very good. So it's 1 over s minus n. So in finding the Laplace transform of an exponential function, so we don't need to do this method again and again. So we could use right away this formula. Ang function, ang Laplace transformation ng e raised to nt is 1 over s minus n. Okay? So pinapalitan lang natin yung sign ng numerical coefficient. Eh yung kanina, so this one is t squared. No? So karon tayo ng f of t, it's t squared. Sabi mo, ang Laplace transform niya is 2 over s cubed. Bigyan ko pa kayo ng isa pa, or dalawa siguro. Let's say it's t cubed. Ang Laplace transform ng t cubed is 6 over s to the 4th. T to the 4th, ang ano niya is 24 over s to the 5th. So what is the Laplace transform of t raised to n?
One all over n squared, sir.
1 over n squared. N squared. Nawala yung s. Dapat may s. Ano yun? 2n. Ay, try natin yung sabi ni John Art. So, sabi niya is ano daw? 2n over sn plus 1. So yung sa baba, tama, no? Kasi 3 yun eh. So 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 1 is 5. So, tama yung nasa baba. How about yung sa taas? So, ang n mo doon is 2. Ang n mo dito is 3. So, 3 times 2 is 6. Kaya lang dito, ang n mo is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So, bigyan ko pa kayong isa pa. So, 3 raised to 5,
Sir, di ba n factorial?
n factorial. Yeah, very good. N factorial. Ayan, sinabi na ni ano. So, it's n factorial. Tama. Kaya di ba, 2 factorial is 2, 3 factorial is 6, 4 factorial is 24. So, kaya kapag algebraic function siya, okay, kapag algebraic function siya, so it will be n factorial all over s raised to n plus 1. Okay. So, ayun, meron tayong table. Discussion. Meron tayo actually common table. But actually, mas marami pa dito. Ito lang yung basic. Okay? So ito lang kailangan natin tandaan. So kapag pinapakuha yung Laplace transformation ng constant, so it will always be constant all over S. So for example, anong Laplace transform ng 3? Ang Laplace transform niya would be 3 over S. So anong Laplace transform ng pi? So ang Laplace transform niya is pi over S. Okay, so that is the Laplace transform of constant. Kapag algebraic functions, t raised to n, so ito, yung kanina. So yung sinabi nyo nga. So n factorial all over s raised to n plus 1. Pag exponential, 1 over s minus n. 1 over s minus n. Na-derive na natin yon. So, hindi natin dinerive yung sine, cosine, hyperbolic sine, at saka hyperbolic cosine. Medyo mahaba siya. So, gumagamit siya ng dito, by parts, and then recurring. Ay, hindi ko na sinolve. Ito lang yung kalalabasan niya. So, kapag yung sa baba, it's s squared plus n squared. So, n here would be the constant, and then s would be our variable. So, ang numerator niya is n, so that is sine. Kapag ang numerator niya is s, so that would be a cosine. Okay? So, kapag ang numerator niya is a constant, it would be sine. Pag ang numerator naman niya is a variable s, then that is cosine. Ako tinatandaan ko, sa dulo lang. Although, pag ang dulo niya is S, okay, so S yung nasa taas. Pag ang dulo niya is N yung nasa taas. Okay? Ganon. So sine, ang dulo niya is N ang nasa taas. Ang dulo ng cosine is S, so S ang nasa taas. Okay? So tapos pag positive siya, sine and cosine. Pero pag negative yan, hyperbolic sine or hyperbolic cosine. Okay, so that is on how to, matandaan. So, sine n over s squared plus n squared, cosine s over s squared plus n squared. Pag naging minus yung sa denominator, so it becomes hyperbolic sine and hyperbolic cosine. So ngayon, so let's continue with our examples. So for our examples, parang we are using the same principle nung sa dun sa integration. Okay? So ang Laplace transformation, okay? So it is distributive kapag ang operation is addition or subtraction. Okay? So for example, let's say meron akong function, a constant, and then multiplied it with function t. So ang Laplace transformation nito, so this is the same as c times the Laplace transformation of the function. So kumbaga pwede nating ilabas yung constant. Then kunin mo yung Laplace transformation ng function. Pag nakuha mo na siya, i-multiply mo siya dun sa constant. Okay? So similarly, so kung meron akong let's say C1 f of t, then plus C2 f1 of t, f2 of t. So ang Laplace transformation nito, distributive siya. Okay? Basta constant ha. So pwede siyang C1 Laplace transform of the first function plus C2 the Laplace transform of the second function. Okay, so nagwo-work yan both sa constant at saka dun sa amin different. So pwedeng plus yun or pwedeng minus. Pero kapag meron kang dalawang function, so let's say naka-multiply f1 of t at saka f2 of t, okay? Then you are to find the Laplace transform of these. So hindi yan pwedeng na Laplace transform ng f1 of t tapos multiply mo sa Laplace transform ng second function. So these are not equal. Okay? So kapag ganun siya, kapag ang two functions were multiplied with each other, ano yon? For example, t squared e raised to 2t. Okay? So dalawang function yan, algebraic at saka exponential. So hindi pwedeng kunin mo yung t and then kunin mo din yung e. Okay? So hindi pwedeng ganon. So kapag ganon, so meron tayong mga theorems na ginagamit. So kapag product na yung pinag-uusapan. Okay? There are cases naman if there are some operations that are involved on the function, so you need to simplify it first. So para mapunta siya dun sa 7 na nandun sa table natin. There are cases naman na let's say it's a trigo function. So wala tayong direct na Laplace transform for that function. Pero kapag ginamitan natin ng identity, so pwede na natin silang magamit yung table natin. So things like that. Okay? So as we go on with our examples, so we'll be able to see those things. Let's have this example. So ang function natin is 4 plus 3 e raised to negative 2t. Yan. So this is a sum. So ngayon, ang Laplace transform nito, so the Laplace transform of the given function, so it's just simply the Laplace transform of 4 plus the Laplace transform of 3 or 3 times the Laplace transform of e raised to negative 2t. Ganun lang siya, distributive. So ang f of s natin yan, so would be Laplace transform of 4. So yung sa table natin kanina, di ba, c over s, that is, a constant would be c over s. So that is 4 all over s. So remember this, the Laplace transform of constant, so that is t all over s. Tapos Laplace transform of e raised to negative nt, so that would be 1 over s plus n. So in this case, so this would be plus 3, and e raised to negative 2t, so that would be 1 over s plus 2. Okay. So this would be, so pwede natin sila yung combine nun. So s times s plus 2. So this would be 4, multiplied it with s plus 2. And then plus 3 times s. Or we have 4s plus 8 plus 3s all over s times s plus 2. So our f of s would be 7s plus 8 all over s times s plus 2. Combine natin lang nun into a single term. Seven S plus 8S. Okay. Okay, so can we follow? Next, function natin is cosine 5t and plus sine 2t. So again, so Laplace transform of cosine and t. So that is cosine. So s all over s squared, so plus n squared. Tapos ang Laplace transform ng sine n t is n over s squared plus n squared. So ngayon, the Laplace transform of f of t then, so would be equal to, so diretso ko na, so cosine would be s all over s squared plus 5 squared and plus n for sine, so which is 2 all over s squared plus 2 squared. So combine lang natin. So this would be s squared plus 25, yung isa, s squared plus 4. So we'll have s times s squared plus 4 plus 2 times s squared plus 25. So we have s cubed plus 4s plus 2s squared plus 50 all over s squared plus 25, s squared plus 4. Finally, so rearranging, so s cubed plus 2s squared plus 4s plus 50 all over s squared plus 25, s squared plus 4. So, yun yung Laplace transform niya. Okay. Another example. Dire-diretso lang tayo pag walang tanong. So, find the Laplace transform of the function. So e raised to t minus e raised to negative t squared. Yan. So ito yung example na merong operations na involved. So the difference of the two exponential functions is raised to 2. So in this case, hindi pwedeng kunin lang ang Laplace transform ng e raised to t at saka yung e raised to negative 2t and then yung sagot i-raise ng 2. Hindi siya pwedeng ganon. So first step natin dito would be we have to expand. Okay, so this one would become e raised to t times e raised to t. So e raised to 2t. Then minus 2 times e raised to t. And then e raised to negative t. And that would become plus e raised to negative t times e raised to negative t, e raised to negative 2t. So f of t natin would be e raised to 2t plus e raised to negative 2t, then minus e raised to t and e raised to negative t would become e raised to 0 or 1 or minus 2 then. So ngayon, so since na-simplify na natin siya, tama, na-expand natin. So ang gagawin natin yan, so we're going to find the Laplace transform of its given term. Kasi this time around, so there's already an equivalent Laplace transform on each term of the given function. So the Laplace transform of f of t then, so would be equal to 1 over f minus 2 plus 1 over s plus 2 minus 2 all over s. Or, so this would be s minus 2, s plus 2, and times s. So, natira dito would be s plus 2 times s, and plus s minus 2 times s, and minus 2 times s minus 2, s plus 2. So, multiply natin. So, I'll have s squared plus 2s plus s squared minus 2s. Then minus, so this is sum and difference, no? So, minus 2s squared, s squared minus 4 plus 8, no? Then divide it with, so pwede ko na i-combine ito. These are the same as s squared minus 4. Then multiplied it with s. So simply, s squared plus s squared is 2s squared. So minus 2s. So cancel. So cancel din yun. So matira would be 8 over s times s squared minus 4. Okay? Walang talong. Dire-diretso tayo. How about this? So yung 2, pwede na natin siyang kunin ng Laplace transform. How about cosine squared? 40. So what are we going to do with this one first?
Identity, sir.
Anong identity ang gagamitin natin?
1 plus cosine 2t. All over.
1 plus cosine 2a all over 2 equals to what? Equal, then equal ito. 1 plus cosine 2a all over 2. Equals sa cosine squared a. Kaya lang, ang kinukuha natin is cosine squared 40. So, hindi pares yung angle nila. Mga ba? So, this one is the same as, kung gagawin natin siyang cosine squared 4a, so since 2 yon, so 2 times 4, so this is the same as 1 plus cosine 8a all over 2. Tama? So, kasi nga, a lang yon. So, if it is 4a, so it should be 8a dun sa cosine natin. So, ngayon, ang f of t natin yan, so it would be 4 multiplied it with 1 plus cosine 8a all over 2. 1 plus cosine 8a all over 2, then minus 2. So f of t natin nun, so would be 2 plus 2 cosine 8a minus 2. And simply, ang f of t natin, so would just be 2 cosine 8a. Oh, sorry, t na pala tayo. So this should be t. 8t. Okay, so now that we have that, so we can now take the Laplace transform of f of t. So that would just be 2 multiplied it with s all over s squared plus 8 squared. So simply 2s all over s squared plus 64. So yun yung f of s natin. nun. Next. So what to do with this one? So kamukha nung kanina, we're going to 2t minus 1. Yes? Gagawin natin. We're going to expand. Raise to 3 siya, so 1, 3, 3, 1. So, no? So, ang f of t natin yan, so would be 2t raised to 3 and plus 3 times 2t squared times negative 1 and plus 3 times 2t negative 1 squared and plus negative 1 cubed. Expand lang natin. So, we'll have 8t cubed and minus 4 times 3 to 12 t squared and positive 6t and minus 1. So, ngayon, ang Laplace transform ng f of t natin, so would be 8 using t raised to n. So 3 factorial over s raised to 3 plus 1. So 4 minus 12. So 2 factorial over s raised to 3. 1 plus 6. 1 factorial over s squared minus 1 all over s. So 3 factorial is 6 times 8, 48 over s to the 4th minus 24 over s cubed plus 6 over s squared minus 1 over s. So s to the 4th nun, so will be 48 minus 24s plus 6s squared minus s cubed. And that would be our f of s. So Laplace transform. Okay. So mostly ganun lang. No? If there are some operations involved, perform the operations and then find the Laplace transform. Pero there are cases na, for example, ito. So meron tayong naka-product. So 2 raised to 4 at saka a raised to negative 3t. Okay, so product of an algebraic function and an exponential function. So how do we find the Laplace transform of that? So sabi ko kanina, so there are theorems that we could use. Okay, so there are theorems that we could use. Let me find it. Ayan. So yung unang theorem na gagamitin natin would be the shifting theorem. So when we say shifting theorem, okay, so shifting theorem is if we are given these two functions which are multiplied with each other. Meaning any function f of t is multiplied with an exponential function. So basta kahit anong function, naka-multiply siya sa exponential function. Therefore, that one uses the shifting theorem. Okay, so any function multiplied with an exponential function, so shifting theorem ang gagamitin natin. So ngayon, so how do we find yung Laplace transform nun? So sabi sa shifting theorem, so we need to find the Laplace transform of the given function f of t first. So mukha nito, so kunin muna yung Laplace transform ng f of t. And then afterwards, all of the s will be shifted accordingly. So let's say meron kang, ang Laplace transform niya, let's say is 2 all over s squared. So tapos, ang exponential function is e raised to negative 3t. So pag ganyan yan, so gagawin mo lang, so we're just going to transform or you're just going to shift the function to s plus 3. So lahat ng s doon, palitan mo lang ng s plus 3. So this one would become 2 over s plus 3 squared. Okay, so that is on how to use the function or the shifting theorem. So any function, multiplied it with exponential function. So meron ding isa, ito naman. So any function so which is multiplied with t raised to n. Hindi ko pala na-edit to, so mali yan. So a function multiplied it with t raised to n. So t raised to n, a function multiplied it with t raised to n. Anong difference niya? So may formula tayo dito. Ang formula niya is negative 1 raised to n. N would be the power of t. And then the nth derivative of the Laplace transform of the function, so with respect to s. So gumagamit naman siya ng nth or gumagamit naman siya ng derivative. Okay? So kunin mo yung Laplace transform nung function muna and then derive mo siya depende dun sa power ng n and afterwards multiplied it with negative 1 raised to n. Okay? So let's have an example. Ito product siya. So t raised to 4, e raised to negative 3t. So what theorem can we use? Can we use shifting or can we use t raised to n? So diretso to. So f of t is t raised to 4, e raised to negative 3t. So actually both pwede, no? Kasi kung gagamitin mo shifting theorem, ang f of t mo nun dito would be t raised to 4. Pero kung t raised to 4 ang f of t mo, okay, or sorry, kung shifting theorem, so tama, ang f of t mo is t raised to 4. Pero kung ang gagamitin mo is yung multiplication by t raised to n, ang f of t mo nun would become t raised to negative 3t. So whichever actually. Kaya lang, one will yield to a longer solution as compared to the other. Actually, pinakamadali ang shifting theorem. Okay, so if pwede siyang shift mo, mag-shifting theorem ka. Kasi medyo mahaba yung multiplication by t raised to n. So remember, this one is t raised to 4. So dun sa formula natin ng t raised to n would correspond to the number of derivative. So ang t raised to 4 yan, magdi-derive hanggang 4 times. So mahaba yun. Okay? So to do this one, so we could use the shifting theorem. So diretso ko na. So the Laplace transform of this would be equivalent to the Laplace transform of t raised to 4, and then this is shifted to s plus 3. So the Laplace transform of t raised to 4 would be 4 factorial over s raised to 5. And then shifted to s plus 3. So 4 factorial, 624 over s raised to 5. Then s plus 3. And this would just be 24 over s plus 3 raised to 5. So that is on how to use the shifting theorem. Kunin mo lang yung Laplace transform niya, and then afterwards, i-derive mo siya. Pangalawa, ito, kamukha niya lang, no? Pero sige, try natin yung ano. May ano pala siya. Meron siyang specific method na pinapagamit. Multiplication by t raised to n. So this is t e raised to 2t. So gamitin natin yung formula natin. So ang formula nito noon, so the Laplace transform of the given function, yung sagot na lang. So f of s then, so would be equal to negative 1 raised to n. So ang n natin dito is 1. Okay, kasi ito yun, di ba? So t raised to n. So n is 1, negative 1. And then first derivative lang. So with respect to x, ng Laplace transform of e raised to 2t. So we'll have negative 1 and the derivative of e raised to 2t, so would be 1 over s minus 2. So tapos, derive mo lang siya. So derivative of that, so tas na lang natin. So s minus 2, negative 1. So negative 1, so s minus 2 raised to negative 2, and times 1. In short, so that would be positive 1 over s minus 2 squared. Kung gamitan mo yan ng shifting theorem, so the answer should be the same. So f of s, that would be the Laplace transform of t, and then s would be shifted 2 times, so s minus 2. So t is 1 factorial over s squared. Then s is shifted to s minus 2. So the answer is the same. So s minus 2 squared. So, marais lang. Questions?
Wala po.
Okay. So, kailangan tandaan natin to kasi mamaya babaligtarin natin ito. Pagdating sa inverse. So, we need to know how to use or how to find the Laplace. So, e raised to 3t hyperbolic cosine 3t. So, ang Laplace transform nito, so we could use shifting theorem. That would be the Laplace transform of cosine 3t. And then, so this is shifted to s minus 3. Hyperbolic cosine, so it would just be minus cosine, so that would be s over s squared minus 3 squared. Then shifted to s minus 3. So this would become s minus 3 all over s minus 3 squared minus 9. F of s would be s minus 3 s squared minus 6s plus 9 minus 9. So simply, f of s would be s minus 3. So cancel na ito. So we could factor out s. And I'll have s minus 6. Shifting. Okay. And now, second derivative. So multiplication by t, so t squared, so sine 2t. So f of s, so would be negative 1 raised to n. So ang n natin is 2. And then second derivative, so with respect to s, of the Laplace transform of sine 2t. So, ang f of s niyan, so negative 1 raised to 2 is positive na, no? So, second derivative of the function, so ang Laplace transform ng sine 2t, so it's 2 all over s squared minus, no? Ay, plus 4. So ngayon, so kunin muna natin yung first derivative. So ang f of s natin yan, so the derivative ng ito. So, 2 s squared plus 4 raised to negative 1. So f of s then, derive muna natin siya. So first derivative, so I'll have negative 2 times s squared plus 4 raised to negative 2. And then s squared, so we'll have 2s. Negative 2, s squared plus 4 raised to negative 2, then 2s. So simplify muna natin. We'll have negative s squared plus 4 raised to negative 2. So, yun yung first derivative. Susunod doon, so hanapin mo yung second derivative niya. So, this one is by product. So, UDV. So, negative 4s. Kaya lang derivative nito would be negative 2 times negative 4. So, we have positive 8. So, 8s na lang lagay ko, no? So, tapos, s squared plus 4, negative 2, so negative 3. And then, ang s squared would be 2s. And then, so copy mo lang yung s squared plus 4 raised to negative 2. And derivative ng negative 4s would just be negative 4. So, f of s natin yan, so would be 16s squared all over s squared plus 4 raised to 3 and minus 4 over s squared plus 4 squared. So f of s, LCD is s squared plus 4 raised to 3. We have 16s squared, 16s squared, then minus 4 times s squared plus 4. So f of s, diretso na natin, s squared plus 4 raised to 3. So 16 minus 4, so we'll have 12 s squared, then minus 16. Question. Okay. So we are on the last example. P e raised to 4t hyperbolic sine 2t. Ito, tatlo na, halo-halo na. Okay, so how do we find the Laplace transform of this? There are two ways on how to do this. So pwedeng mauna yung shifting theorem, and then afterwards, t raised to n. The second one is t raised to n, afterwards, shift it. So which do you think is simpler? Mauna yung shifting or mauna yung t raised to n? So mauna bang i-shift natin yung sign or maunang i-t raised to n muna natin siya?
Yung sign po.
Oo nga. Will it be shifted first or t raised to n muna?
Shifted first.
Shifted. So, si-shift natin siya, and then afterwards, i-derive natin siya. Or i-derive muna siya, and then afterwards, i-shift siya. Kasi ano dito, para hindi siya less complicated, so dapat mas konti yung diniderive natin. Okay. Although it will yield to the same answer. Ito kasi wala namang problema. Kasi ang ano lang dyan dito is just t raised to 1 eh. So, first derivative lang tayo. Magiging problema dito kapag t raised to 2 yan, t raised to 3. So, if that would be the case, tapos, sinyift mo muna siya, so mangyari doon, siyempre, mas mahaba yung function mo. Mas mahaba yung diniderive mo kapag sinyift mo na siya kagad. Actually, ang advisable dito would be always start with derivative. Okay. So, kasi mas konti yung diniderive mo, mas simple siya. Okay. So, ang mauna dito would be the f of s would be equal to derivative muna. So, yung sa derivative niyan, so would be negative 1 and raised to 1. And then the derivative of the Laplace transform of hyperbolic sine of 2t. And afterwards, so lahat ng to, i-shift mo siya ng S minus 4. So, ginawa natin, nauna tayo sa derivative. And afterwards, mag-shift tayo. So this would be negative. Laplace transform of hyperbolic sine, so would be 2 all over S squared minus 4. Natanggal ang derivative. And shift to S minus 4.
Sir, di po yata nagsusulat, sir.
Put that. Naglag ang Zoom. Okay, yan. So gawin mo na, so that would be negative, the first derivative of the Laplace transform of hyperbolic sine 2t, so which is 2 over S squared minus 4. And then S is shifted to S minus 4. So the first derivative of this, so would be, so taas ko na lang siya, so that would be 2, so negative mo na, so negative 2, so negative 2, S squared minus 4, negative 1 minus 1 is negative 2. And afterwards, so derivative ng S squared would be 2S. So S is shifted to S minus 4. So f of S then would be 4S all over S squared minus 4 squared, shifted to S minus 4. So f of S then would be 4 times S minus 4 and divide it with S minus 4 squared minus 4 squared. So f of S then would be 4 S minus 4 divided with S squared minus 8S plus 16 minus 4, so plus 12, then squared. Four S minus 4S squared minus 8S plus 12 squared. And that is the Laplace transform of that function. So, pwede rin na ano, yung isa. Let's try to do the other one. So, pwede rin na unahin natin yung Right? So t e raised to 4t hyperbolic sine 2t. So unahin natin yung shifting. So kung isi-shift mo yan, so that would be ano ba siya nun? Kaya nasa labas would be the derivative, no? So negative 1. Tapos the derivative, first derivative lang of the Laplace transformation ng buo na to. So which is ang Laplace transformation niya, so would be the Laplace transform of sine h 2t and then shifted to s minus 4. So f of t natin nun, so would be negative the first derivative of this Laplace transform of a hyperbolic sine, so would be 2 over s squared minus 4, then shift it. So s minus 4. So this is what I'm talking about. Okay lang. So 2 over s minus 4 squared minus 4. So negative 2 over s squared negative 4, so negative 8s plus 16 minus plus 12. Then derive lang natin siya. So tapos ko yan, so this would be 2 s squared minus 8s plus 12, negative 1. So it would be negative, so negative 2 s squared minus 8s plus 12 raised to negative 2. And derivative ng s squared, so 2s minus 8. And then, so magiging positive yon. So I could factor out 2 dun sa kabila. So that would become 4. And then s minus 4 over s squared minus 8s plus 12 squared. So, pares lang. So negative and negative, so positive. Pagdating dito, factor out ko yung 2. So 2 times 2 would become 4. Then matira doon is s minus 4. Then baba natin yung negative 2. So which is the same as above. So whichever. Okay, so that is all about Laplace transformation. Question? Hindi lang? Wala?
Sir, bali dalawa lang po yung theorem.
Yes. Hindi natin diniscuss yung divide. Hanggang ano lang. Multiplication by t raised to n. So we'll have actually hindi 10 minutes, 20 minutes. So we'll be back at 12 noon. No? So 12 o'clock na tayo babalik. Ang gagamitin nating link, yung link ng 203. Ibigay ko na lang sa mga ECE yung link na yon. No? Hindi ito. Gagamitin nating link is yung link ng 203. Send ko yung notes. Sige, send ko na. Baka malimutan ko pa. Ayun. So, nasend ko na yung yung notes na to dun sa dalawang klase. So, yung sa mga ECE, dun sa tayo, no? Bigay ko yung link ng 203. Sige, break muna tayo, 20 minutes. Okay, hello. Kapag-lunch na kayo. Okay, so since there are already 50 of us here, start na tayo. So next we have the inverse Laplace transform. So under this topic, so we will be covering the inverse Laplace of a given function. So baligtad naman. Okay, so given ka ng S function, and then you will be determining the f of t function. So ang formula natin, it's just the same. Okay, kaya lang take note, baligtad tayo. No? Okay, so you have to be very very keen in looking at the resemblance of those functions into this formula that we have right now. Yung gagawin lang natin, we're just going to manipulate the given f of s function or the function in the S domain, and then we're just going to transform it back into the T domain. Okay? Kumbaga sa calculus, this is the integral calculus. Okay, so baliktad. So ang table, ang formula natin, it's the same formula that hindi na tayo by definition. So we're going to proceed right away with this table. Kapag meron kang C over S, so that would be C. So tapos similar with meron tayong neutralizing factor. Kapag hindi siya kampa nung sa given natin, so we need to neutralize it so with a certain numerical value. Okay, so to balance the given function. And then after this, so we will be covering the Laplace transform of derivatives. So ito. Kasi gagamitin natin ito in finding the solution of a differential equation or higher order or even the lower order differential equation, so we can use Laplace transform. Okay? Let's have an example. Okay, so given ka ng 24 over s to the 5th. So among the functions on the table, so saan papunta itong function na to, na 24 over s to the 5th? F of t is the inverse Laplace of s to the 5th. So papunta yan dun sa saan? The t raised to n natin, di ba? So this is the same as s to 4 plus 1. So ngayon, kung 4 plus 1 yan, so remember na ang Laplace transform ng t raised to n, so that would be n factorial over sn plus 1. So ganun lang gagawin natin, kukopihin lang natin yan. So kung s plus 4 yon, so dapat magkaroon tayo ng 4 factorial dito sa taas. Kaya lang yung 4 factorial, this is the same as 24, tama? So 2 times 3, 6 times 4, 24. So this is the same as 4 factorial all over s raised to the 4 plus 1. So since ganyan yan, so therefore, ang f of t natin nun, so t raised to n, so which is t raised to 4. Okay, so simple as that. As direct as that. Next, ito lang yan. So how about kung ganito siya? So 6s minus 2 over s squared plus 4. So tinitingnan mo yan sa denominator. So kung s lang siya, s raised to a certain power, yung t raised to n yun. Kung linear lang siya, s minus 2, s plus 3, exponential yun. Pag quadratic yung nasa baba, sa denominator, it's either sine or cosine or hyperbolic sine or hyperbolic cosine. So, ganun lang. Tinitingnan lang natin yung denominator. It's t raised to n, so it's just simply s. Okay, so walang kasamang constant. S raised to a certain power. The exponential, s minus n. Pag quadratic, sine or cosine. So this one, so most probably this is
Cosine, sir.
sine or cosine ito, no? Punta natin sa stop. So pwede kong this one, this is the same as, kasi this is the same as the inverse Laplace, distribute ko siya. So 6s minus 12 all over s squared plus 4. Tapos, this is the same as paghiwalayin natin, no? So since 6 yon, pwede kong ilabas si 6 kasi constant naman yon. Tapos the inverse Laplace of s over s squared plus 4 is s 2 squared. Tapos yung isa, minus 12, inverse Laplace of s squared plus 2 squared. Yung sa taas kasi nung ano is, for this one, it's just s. Pero dito, this is constant. So remember, kapag ang numerator mo is constant, that resembles a sign. Okay, so kaya lang, kasi di ba dun sa ano natin, the Laplace transform of n over s squared plus n squared. So this is sine nt. So kung ang n mo dito is 2 squared, so dapat meron ka rin 2 dun sa numerator. Okay? But the problem is, meron ka ng 12 dun sa baba, dun sa ano, sa labas. So therefore, yung 2 sobra siya. So we have to neutralize this one by there. So mag-divide tayo nun ng 2. So kasi nga sobra yung nilabas na natin yung constant and then we'll have a 2 on the numerator. So we have to divide it with 2 as well. Okay? So therefore, ang f of t natin yan, so would be, so ano yung s over s squared plus 2? That would be 6 cosine, regular lang, no? 2t. Then minus 6, 12 divides 2 is 6 sine 2t naman nun. Yun na siya na. 6 cosine 2t minus 6 sine 2t. You can factor out 6. Fine. Question. Okay. Yan follow, So how about if it looks like this one? So anong first step natin dito? So problem natin dito, okay? S lang siya, no? Kaya lang product yung nasa denominator. Hindi rin lang siya S. S plus constant or S minus constant. Kung S plus constant or S minus constant lang yun, exponential. Kaya lang problema, it's a product of the two. This one can be combined, no? 4S plus 3. Kasi pwede mo combine to, di ba? Sa amin, difference of two squares. Or difference of two squares. Minus 9. Since S squared minus 9 na yan, so, you plus transform of hyperbolic sine or hyperbolic cos sine.
Yes.
Okay. So, ang gawin natin, so kamukha yung ginawa natin kanina. So, f of t niyan, so would be, labas natin yung 4. So, 4 inverse Laplace of s over s squared minus 9. So, ganun din yun. So, plus 3 inverse Laplace of s squared minus, so 9 pala, so that is the same as 3 squared. So, may 3 tayo dun sa baba, so dapat may 3 din sa taas. So, therefore, i-divide din natin yun ng 3. Okay? So, ang ginagawa lang natin yun sa sine. Sa cosine kasi, pinapabayaan lang natin yung constant. So, sa sine kasi, dapat kung ano yung n squared dun sa baba, dapat ganun yung n dun sa numerator. Okay? So, para magamit natin yung sine. So, ngayon, so ang f of t natin yan, so would be for, this is hyperbolic cosine, which is 3t. And then plus, this is already 1. And then hyperbolic sine of 3t. Okay, so ganun yung inverse Laplace nito. Ang tanong, mag-iis tayo pag walang tanong. Number 4. Okay. So what do you think is the first step here? Huh? So since yung nasa baba is s to the fourth, so this one resembles the t raised to n. Diba? Kasi wala naman siyang kasamang constant dun sa baba. It's just s raised to 4. Gagawin natin, no? So we're going to expand our first or yung numerator natin. So s plus 1 raised to 3. So expansion yan would be s cubed then plus 3s squared plus 3s plus 1. S cubed plus 3s squared plus 3s plus 1. Then divide it with s to the fourth. And afterwards, so this is the same as the inverse Laplace of s cubed over s to the fourth, 1 over s plus 3 over s squared plus 3 over s cubed plus 1 over s to the fourth. Then Laplace nito, it's just the Laplace of the constant 1 over s. No? Then plus 3 Laplace ng s squared. So this is 1 plus 1. So karoon tayo ng 1 factorial doon. So huwag ka na mag-divide. 1 din yun eh. And plus 3 inverse Laplace of s 2 plus 1. So 2 factorial dito. So dapat may 2 factorial din doon sa baba. Then plus 1 inverse Laplace of s raised to 3 plus 1. So may 3 factorial doon. So dapat may 3 factorial din doon sa baba. So f of t natin nun, so would be 1 over s. Laplace transform is it's just 1. Tapos plus 3 t raised to n. So just t. Plus 3 over 2 t squared plus 1 over 6 t cubed. Okay, 7. So we can follow. Okay. How about this one? 8 over s plus 4 raised to 3. Ano to? T raised to n, exponential, or sine and cosine. So, titingnan ko to. So, yung sa baba, s plus 4, so parang exponential yan. Diba? Exponential. Kaya lang problema, naka-raise siya sa 3. This one. So with this particular example, so nag-combine na siya actually. So nag-combine siya ng parang kung gagawin ko to, so ang f of t natin, so ang nangyari dito would be i-rewrite ko muna. So the inverse Laplace of parang it's the same as 8 over s cubed, and then this one is s plus 4. Tama ba? Tama, nag-shift siya. So 8 over, papalitan ko yan, so 8 over s cubed, and then nag-shift siya ng s plus 4. So susunod nun, so ang gagawin mo na lang, so kunin mo yung Laplace transform ng 8 over s cubed. So this would be, so f of t, so would be 8. And then the inverse Laplace of s cubed, which is s 2 plus 1, then 2 factorial divided with 2 factorial. And then nag-shift lang siya ng s plus 4. In short, this would be, f of t would be 8 divides 2 is 4. Tapos t squared. Then nag-shift siya ng s plus 4. So a raised to negative 4t. So 4t squared tapos a raised to negative 4t. Okay. So sa inverse Laplace, dapat matinik yung mata mo. Kung anong function. Okay? So anong function sa magta-transform based from the table. Alright. Let's have another one. So how about this? S over s squared plus 2s plus 5. So basta quadratic yung nasa denominator, so most probably, ano to? Transformable siya to what? Kapag quadratic yung denominator, this one is transformable to either sine or cosine. Okay? So whether that is basic or hyperbolic. Basta may s squared kang nakita doon. So most probably, so that would be a sine or a cosine. Basta may kasama yung s squared. Kasi kung s squared yan, mga kasama, algebraic yun, t raised to n. Pero kung quadratic yan, tapos may kasama siyang linear plus a constant, therefore, that one becomes sine or cosine. Alam ang problema? Ayun, advanced din. Okay? Ang sine and cosine kasi is just s squared plus or minus a constant. So the problem here is meron tayong 2s sa gitna. So kaya ang gagawin natin is we're going to make completing the square. Okay, so magko-completing the square tayo. So para it would just be a sum or difference of two squares. So s squared, so f of t, so would be equal to so s over, so ito nga, di ba? So half of 2, then square it, so that would be 1. Gawin lang natin nun. So s squared plus 2s plus 1 minus 1 plus 5. So using completing the square. So f of t natin nun would be s all over. So etong s squared plus 2s plus 1, that is already a constant, which is s plus 1. Okay, so s plus 1 squared. S plus 1 squared is s squared plus 2s plus 1. So ito yun. So tapos, magkaroon ako ng negative 1 plus 5, that is plus 4. That would become plus 2 squared. So s over s plus 1 squared plus 2 squared. So ngayon, this one, nagre-resemble siya ng sine, cosine, hyperbolic sine, hyperbolic cosine. So it is cosine. Cosine, kaya lang, hindi lang siya cosine. Okay, so ano pa? May ginamit din ba siyang Adler theorem? Exponential. Or nag-shift din siya, di ba? So, nag-shift din siya actually. Kaya lang, look at this one. So nag-shift yung sa baba ng s plus 1. Di ba? Kapag nag-shift tayo, lahat ng s dapat mag-shift din. Okay, so yung sa baba, so para siyang nag-shift ng 1. So dapat yung sa taas, magsi-shift din siya. Okay, so magkakaroon daw tayo dun sa taas ng, this should be, para i-balance natin yung shift dun sa baba, s plus 1 squared plus 2 squared. So kung may s plus 1 ako sa baba, dapat meron din akong s plus 1 sa taas. So the problem is, s lang yung nasa original ko. So dapat ma-balance out natin yon, magma-minus 1 ako. Okay? So kasi s plus 1 minus 1, it's the same as s. Okay? So para siyang ganon. So kaya pag pinaghiwalay natin yan, so this one would be the same as s plus 1 all over, may inverse Laplace pala. S plus 1 squared plus 2 squared, then minus 1 over s plus 1 squared plus 2 squared. So kung i-rewrite natin yan, okay, so separately, so f of t then, so would be the same as this. So yung s plus 1 parang s over s squared plus 2 squared. Kaya lang, nag-shift yan ng s plus 1. Tapos minus, ito. So remember, so s plus 1 squared, or tanggalin ko na, nag-shift na pala siya. So it would be s squared plus 2 squared. Kaya lang kung may 2 dun sa baba, may 2 dun sa taas, and then I'm going to divide that by 2 as well. Para ma-neutralize natin siya. And then this one is shifted to s plus 1 as well. So ayun, so since we're able to transform it, so pwede na natin sabihin na ang f of t is equals to e raised to negative t, and then this would be cosine 2t minus 1/2, okay, and then that is sine, 1/2 e raised to negative t dun sa shifting niya, tapos yung sa loob, it is sine 2t naman. Tama? Yes? So itong dito, yung kamukha lang nung kanina, ya. So naglalagay tayo ng 2 dun sa taas kasi nga that is time. Yung numerator niya dapat may, or ang numerator niya, it should be the same as the n dun sa denominator. So kaya lang, so since yung original natin, it's only 1, so kaya mag-neutralize ako ng 1/2. So para pag multiply ko yan, it would just be equal to 1. Okay? Clear ito. Yun. Last na pala yun. Para dun sa mga basic Laplace transform or inverse Laplace transform. So you just have to take note of that. So yung mga example natin, yung diretso lang. Tapos yung pangalawa, gumamit ng shifting. Actually, mahirap yung yung pabaligtaran nung dito, e raised to m. Kasi mag-integrate ka doon. Anyway. So let's proceed dun sa solutions of higher order differential equation using Laplace transformation. So sa pagkuha niyan, so we have to take note. Discussion. Ito. So ito yung Laplace transform ng mga derivatives. Okay? So ang ano lang sa Laplace transform, ang nasusolve niya lang mostly so would be definite. Okay? So mayroon tayong mga initial values so para ma-solve niya. Okay? Kasi otherwise so would be variable yung sagot natin. Let's say ang Laplace transform ng y prime or ng first derivative so is equal to SYS minus y of 0. Okay? Laplace transform ng second derivative. So kung papansin nyo, yung S, bumababa lang yung degree niya. So second derivative, so S squared, then y of S, then minus, bababa yung S, mag-start yung y of 0. So y of 0, then minus y prime of 0. Okay? Tapos y triple prime, so S cube naman siya. S cube y of S, tapos minus S squared, y of 0, minus S, y prime of 0, minus y double prime of 0. Kaya kung meron pa tayong, let's say, Laplace transform ng y to the fourth. So this would just be S to the fourth, y of S minus S cubed, y of 0 minus S squared, y prime of 0 minus S, y of y double prime of 0, then minus y triple prime of 0. Okay? So, ganun yung pagkuha ng Laplace transformation ng mga derivatives. Okay? Ayan. So, ayan. Try nating mag-solve. Pero bago tayo mag-solve, because I haven't tried it. No? Hindi ako nag-practice mag-solve. Ayan. Kung isosolve ko to, anong method ang applicable dito? Without using Laplace transform. Papalitan ko yung y prime. This is the same as dy over dx minus 6y equals to 18. So, this is a first order differential equation, no? Anong method ang applicable dito?
Linear, sir.
Linear. Let's say, solve natin to ng linear. So, solve ko to ng linear equation. So, naka-standard form na siya, no? So, ang p of x natin is negative 6. Ang q of x natin is 18. So, ang u of x natin yan, so if you gusto recall, so that would be a raised to negative 6 or the integral of negative 6 dx. So simply, e raised to negative 6x. Tama ba? E raised to negative 6x. So tapos, this is e raised to negative 6x, multiplied it with y, and that would be equal to the integral of q of x, so 18 mu of x e negative 6x dx. Or e raised to negative 6xy is equals to 18 over negative 6 e raised to negative 6x plus 2. Then that would become, so y is equals to negative 3 e raised to negative 6x and plus c e raised to negative 6x. So y then would just be equals to negative 3 plus c e raised to 6x. Yun yung y natin. Kaya lang, sabi niya, when x is 0, y is 0. This is 0. So negative 3 plus c e raised to 0. So this is 1. So therefore, c is equals to 3. So ang pinaka-solution natin, so y then would be equal to 3 e raised to 6x minus 3. Gamit tayo ng first order differential equation. So that would be our solution. Y is equals to 3e 6x minus 3. Ang tanong, so solve natin to ng another method. So using Laplace transformation. So how do we do that? So let's go. So y prime minus, actually pwede rin ito ng ano, no? Yung sa higher order. Anyway, so minus 6 y prime minus 6y is 18. And y of 0 is equals to 0. So yung Laplace transform ng y prime, so will be s y of s. So s y of s then minus y of 0. So yung una, minus yung y prime yan, no? So, tapos, ano yung Laplace transform ng 6y naman nun? So, pag constant lang siya, so that would just be minus 6y of s. So, wala na siyang y of 0. So, 6 or s, ito yung sa ano, this one is for the y prime. Sy of s minus y of 0. Tapos yung sa y, it's just minus 6y of s. And then afterward, so ano yung Laplace transform ng 18? Constant. Ha? So 18, yung kanina, constant. So 18 all over s. So ito kasi sa left side, ano yan? Laplace transform ng so, sy of s minus y of 0 para dun sa right side. Tapos ito naman para dun sa 6y minus y of s. Equals to 18 over s. Kasi Laplace transform ng 18 is 18 over s. So tapos, ang sabi, y of 0 is 0. So 0 na to. So matitira would just be sy of s minus 6y of s. Or pwedeng factor out natin yung y of s, matitira is s minus 6. Then that would be equal to 18 all over s. So ngayon, kukunin natin is this one. So y of s is 18 all over s times s minus 6. 18 over s times s minus 6. So, yun na yung Laplace transform. Kaya lang, para makuha natin yung solution nito, it should be y of t. Okay? So, para maging y of t ito, kailangan nating mag-inverse Laplace naman. Okay? Kasi the inverse Laplace of y of s so would be y of t. Okay? So, yung inverse Laplace ng y of s natin, so that would become the y of t. So y of t then would be equal to the inverse Laplace of 18 all over s times s minus 6. So ngayon, ito naman, yung s minus 6, that is exponential. Yung s, that would be t raised to, or that would be constant. Ang problema, nakamultiply sila. Kapag dinistribute ko naman yan, that would become s squared minus 6s. So wala rin itong, di rin ito sine or cosine. Kasi wala siyang constant part. Okay? Actually, to resolve this one, so kailangan nating ang tawag dito, partial fraction. So, gawin natin yung 18 nun over s times s minus 6, the same as s plus s minus 6. Then we have a and b. So 18 then would become a s minus 6 plus b times s. So, tapos, when x is 0, so that would be 18 a raised to, or a, 0 minus 6, negative 6. So therefore a is negative 3. Tapos when s is 6 naman, so 18 equals to 6 minus 6 is 0, so b times 6. So b naman is positive 3. So therefore, y of t then will be equal to the inverse Laplace of a is negative 3 over s. Then ang b natin is 3 over s minus 6. So which is negative 3 and plus 3 e raised to 60. So y of t is the same as 3 e raised to 60 minus 3. So ito yung solution natin nun. Which is sa mukha nito, di ba? So 3 e raised to 6x. So, x lang yung ginamit ko instead of t. So minus 3. So this is 3 e raised to 60 minus 3. The solution is, the answer is the same. The solution is different. Ang galing, di ba? Paano nila naisip yun? Question. So that's the beauty of mathematics. So they did just think that one, wala lang. Ganun lang yan. Pero those are two different methods. So those are two different principles. And yet they are arriving on the same answer. So ito kasi yung kapag hindi na kaya ng kasi halos lahat naman kasi may Laplace transform eh. Kaya pag wala na siyang solution dun sa lower order or even higher order method, so Laplace transformation is one of the solution. Okay? Medyo mahaba lang. Mahaba lang yung proseso. Okay. Number 2. Second order. Ito. 3. Ano ito niyan? So, kung using anong sagot dito? Using higher order method. So using higher order method, so y here is equal to C1 e raised to negative 1/2 x cosine square root of 11 over 2x plus c2 e raised to negative 1 half x sine square root of 11 over 2x. Tapos substitute mo na lang yon para makuha mo yung value ng C1 at saka C2. Okay, so anyway, let's try to solve it using Laplace transformation. So y double prime so will become s squared tapos y of s minus s y of 0 minus y double prime of 0. Tapos yung sa y prime naman, so plus s y of s minus y of 0. Lastly, plus 3 y of s, 3 y of s. Then it's equals to 0. So y of 0 is equals to 1. So this is 1, y of 0, this is 1. Ay, sorry, this is y prime lang, not y double prime. Y prime of 0. So y prime of 0 is 2. So this is 2. Okay. So yun, pwede natin factor out yung y of s. So magkaroon tayo ng s squared plus s plus 3 and multiplied it with y of s. Minus 1 minus 1 and minus 2. So negative 4 is equal to 0. Tama ba? One minus 2. Ay, sorry. Mali.
Di po ba ito
Ay, tama yun. Minus s pala yun. No? Minus s tapos minus 3 equals to 0. So, ito pala yun. So, minus s and then negative 2, negative 1, negative 3. Okay, and this one would become s squared plus s plus 3 y of s is equals to s plus 3. So y of s nun would be s plus 3 all over s squared plus s plus 3. What can we do completing the square? So completing the square, so 1 half of 1, then square it. So 1/4. So y of s plus 3 all over s squared plus s plus 1/4 minus 1/4 plus 3. Y of s then, so would be s plus 3 all over s plus 1 half squared. Ano ba? Okay, then 3 minus 1/4 is negative or positive 11 over 4. And then, kung gawin nating square yun din, so y of s is the same as s plus 3 all over s plus 1 half squared plus This is square root of 11 all over 2 squared. Ma. Square root of 11 over 2 squared. S plus 3, 11 over 4. Ngayon, the y of t then, so would be the inverse Laplace of that. The s plus 3 all over s plus 1/2 squared plus square root of 11 over 2 squared. So ngayon, pag hiwalayin natin, hindi mo na. Kasi meron tayong s plus 1/2. So y of t natin nun, so would be the inverse Laplace of s plus 1/2, then minus 1/2 plus 3. Then I'll have s plus 1/2 squared plus square root of 11 over 2 squared. So y of t then would be the inverse Laplace of s plus 1/2 and then 3 minus 1/2, which is 5 over 2 plus 5 over 2 all over s plus 1/2 squared plus square root of 11 over 2 squared. And then, pag-iwalay na natin, so y of t, that would be s plus 1/2 all over s plus 1/2 squared plus square root of 11 over 2 squared. And then plus, palabas ko yung 5 over 2, inverse Laplace of s plus 1/2 squared plus square root of 11 over 2 squared. So dapat meron din sa taas. Meron din dito sa taas. So the answer then, so y of t, diretso ko na, no? Kasi obvious naman na may exponential yun, no? So that would become, walang constant to, no? So e raised to negative 1/2 t. And then this is cosine square root of 11 over 2 t. Then plus, so this one would cancel out. So 5 over the square root of 11. So, ang rationalized value nun, sige, wag na natin rationalize. 5 over square root of 11. And then e raised to negative 1/2 t cosine, or sorry, sine square root of 11 over 2 t. So, tama ba? So, tama, no? Sinagkaiba lang, hindi ko kinuha yung C1 dito at yung C2. So, pag sinabstitute mo yung y of 0 sa 1 at y prime of 0 sa 2, so you will get a value of C1 which is 1. Tapos ang C2 mo should be 5 over square root of 11. Or 5 square root of 11 over 11. Question? Okay pa? Naghalo-halo na sa utak.
Wala nang utak, sir.
We'll have one more. Last na lang. So we have 15 minutes. Y double prime. Mahaba to ah. This is the last topic for differential equation. Actually, hindi natin na-cover would be the application. No? Application niya, kamukha niya lang yung dati. Yung sa circuits, pwede. Pwede rin sa physics. Yung second order. For example, acceleration. Acceleration is second order. So, pwede siya doon. So, bago tayo yung mag-solve. So, ganito yung naisip ko pala. So, yung quiz 5 nyo, I will be the one to give it. Or I will be the one to give you the exam. Ang coverage niya would be until yung variation of parameters. Ang quiz 6 nyo, so kayo ang bahalang pipili. Okay? So gusto ko, it's a third order differential equation and then it's a non-homogeneous. Tapos, isosolve nyo siya in 3 ways. So first would be undetermined coefficient. Pangalawa, variation of parameters. Pangatlo, using Laplace transformation.
Sir, sa inyo po ba ng given o sa amin?
Kayo yung galing yung given. So dapat di pare-parehas. Ang that should be a third order differential equation. Tapos, ang gusto ko, since non-homogeneous yan, so bahala na kayo dito sa homogeneous part, yung non-homogeneous should be a product. Okay? Or pwedeng, yung simple lang. So at least ito, t e raised to 2t, or gusto nyo, sine, okay? T squared sine 2t, ayan. Or pwede, alala kayo maghanap kung ano yung complication. Hindi yung direct lang ha. Tapos solve nyo in 3 ways. The answer should be the same. And that will be your final quiz. So hindi kayo magkakaparehas doon ha. So ang gagawin nyo, para hindi kayo magkakaparehas, pag may nakita na kayo, i-post nyo dun sa GC natin. So kung sinong nang mag-post, sa kanya yung equation na yon. Okay? So dapat walang parehas. Okay, so lastly, so we have y double prime. So this is s squared y of s minus s y of 0 and then minus y prime of 0. Y prime, so plus y of s, then minus y of 0, then minus 2y of s equals to T is 2 squared. 1 over s squared. So 1 over s minus 2 squared. S minus 2 squared. 1 factorial over s squared. Okay, so y of 0 is 0. So this is 0. This is 0. And meron lang tayo is y prime, which is 1. So therefore, I'll have s squared May kulang po ng S, no? Plus S minus 2, then multiplied it with y of S minus 1 equals to 1 over S minus 2 squared. Ang ingay pala, no? So S squared plus S minus 2 y of S equals to 1 over S minus 2 squared minus 1. And then, ang y of S natin yan, so would be equal to, combine ko muna ito. So S minus 2 squared, so 1 minus S minus 2 squared. S squared plus S minus 2. So y of S then, so would be equal to so 1 minus S squared minus 4S plus 4 over S minus 2 squared, S squared plus S minus 2. So giving us y of S to be so 1 minus the negative S squared, positive 4S, negative 3. Can we factor out S squared? Negative or positive 2, negative 1. No? So S minus 2 squared, negative 2, positive 1. Parang naging komplikado. So, divide. Anyway, so y of S